We all come across this problem. Sometimes when we are shooting, some elements end up in the frame of our photos. For this image right here, you can see the light in the frame and also the light stand and this slider right here. Another problem we come across is sometimes the background is looking rough and dirty, as you can tell from this image right here. And guess what? I have a solution for you. In this video, I'm going to show you how to clean your backdrop, and not just clean, I'm going to show you how to extend your backdrop using just Photoshop. And also, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can actually add overlays to your image. Let's jump right into it. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get my background layer by pressing on Ctrl J. And after that, I'm going to pick my patch tool, and I can just remove this part right here with my patch tool. Just the smaller elements using the patch tool. I can also use my remove tool. But for those of you that have the latest version of Photoshop, you can use the patch tool. Now after that, I'm just going to pick any selection tool. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to pick on this lasso tool right here. Once I pick on this lasso tool, I'm just going to draw on the image like this. Alright. So I'm going to make a selection of where I want to fix, just like this. Alright, so after I finish making that selection, you can either right click from here, or you can just come to your edit. Once you come to your edit, just come to content aware fill right here. Once you click on content aware fill, just make sure you remove this green stuff from the subject because you don't want it to affect the subject. And if you want to remove, just make sure this your minus right here is selected. So just remove it from the subject because we don't want to fill it with the subject. So those parts that are green are the part that Photoshop is automatically going to use to fill those areas we selected. So make sure the subject is not selected. So I feel like this works for me. So I'm just going to wait and just let it load right here. And Photoshop is just going to do the magic. Alright, you can see Photoshop has done the magic. So I'm going to click on OK. Now once I click on OK, to remove this selection, I'm just going to press on Ctrl D to remove the selection. Now we've removed the element, but as you can see, the background is not looking really good and really smooth. To fix that, just merge these two layers together. So with this first layer selected, just hold Ctrl and click on this down layer like this. Once these two layers are selected, just press on Ctrl E to merge both layers together. So once you merge them, with the patch tool selected, just make a selection of what you want to fix and just try to fix it manually like so. Alright, so like this works for me. So you can zoom all the way in like this and just try to fix it just like that. Now instead of spending a lot of time by doing this manually, I'm just going to fasten this process by using the retouch on me clean up backdrop to actually clean the backdrop for me. So all I have to do with this layer selected, I'll come to my filter, I'll come to retouch on me, and I'll click on retouch on me clean backdrop right here. Now this will automatically clean my backdrop for me, and the result is really amazing. And I highly recommend you get the retouch on me plugin if you're actually making money off photography and retouching. The plugin is really amazing. Alright, you can see right now it's just processing the image and just going to clean the backdrop for me once it has finished processing the image. Okay, so that's all. So right now it has done the magic. So if I just zoom in, you're going to see the before and after. So this is the before and this is the after. You can see it has automatically cleaned the backdrop for us. See the before and the after, the before and the after. So I'm just going to click on apply right here. Now instead of spending time actually using the patch tool to fix it, you can just use retouch on me to fix it automatically. Alright, now it's looking good like this, but I feel this part right here and this part right here are looking a bit darker. Now to make it more bright, I'm just going to come to my adjustment layer right here, click on my curves tool. Once I click on my curve tool, I'm just going to move this midpoint up like this to add brightness like so. Next I'm going to do, I just want to hide that effect and apply it only to those dark parts. So I'm going to press on Ctrl I to invert the mask. Once I invert the mask, I'll pick my normal brush tool and make sure your focal color is set to white because white reveals and black hide. So if it's on black, just click on this arrow right here to change it to white. And if it's on another color, just click on this small black and white icon right here to change it to default black and white. Make sure you're using a soft round brush, opacity set to 100, flow set to 100, and just paint on those dark parts like that to just make it a little bit more brighter, just like so. After that, I'm just going to come to my windows and come to properties. Once I click on properties, I'm just going to click on this layer mask right here, and it's just going to show me mask properties. So I'm going to click on this feather and just take the feather up just to smoothen out the edges because I don't want to make the edges hard. So see the before and the after. Now I feel it's looking too bright. I'm just going to bring down the opacity a little bit like so. So like this works for me. So the before and the after. Now next I'm going to do, I'm just going to blur the background to make it look more smooth. And I'm just going to create a stamp visible layer by pressing on Ctrl Shift Alternate E to create a stamp visible layer. So I'm going to rename this layer subject layer. Name it subject. Okay. Then I'll pick any selection tool. So I'll pick on this quick selection tool right here and just click on select subject right here. Right. So as you can see, it has selected the subject for us. The selection is quite accurate. So you can see these parts are not selected. So I'm just going to add these parts to the selection. And if you want the selection to be more accurate, you can just zoom in and just pick any selection tool like the polygonal lasso tool or the pen tool and just press Shift to add to the selection like this. If you want to add to the selection, and alternate to remove a particular place from a selection. Alright, so I feel the selection works for me. So I'm just going to invert this selection by pressing on Ctrl Shift I to invert the selection. And right now the background is selected. So I'm going to press on Ctrl J to cut out the background. So you can see we remove the background. So I'm going to rename this layer right here, background layer. Just like that, background. Okay, so right now we have our subject layer, I will have our background layer. Now the next thing I'm going to do, with my subject layer selected, I'm just going to bring back the selection. Now instead of selecting it again, all I can do is just press on Ctrl and click on this background layer to bring back the selection instead of starting all over. So once I bring back the selection, I'm just going to invert the selection to select only the subject by pressing on Ctrl Shift I to invert it. Right now the subject is selected. Now I'm just going to add a layer mask right here. Once I add the layer mask, I'm going to click on my background layer and just bring my background layer below my subject layer like so. Alright, now everything I do is going to be under my subject layer. It's going to affect only the background layer. So I'm going to come to my filter and convert this background layer to a smart filter like that. Now the reason why I convert to a smart filter, if I add any adjustment, I can actually go back and adjust the volume or the numbers of the adjustment. Now with my background layer selected, I'm just going to come to my filter. I'll click on blur and I'll click on Gaussian blur or Gaussian blur and just click it like this. Now I'm just going to use a radius of about, let me just take it up. So just play with your radius and see which one works for your image. So I think 101 works for this image. I feel it's too small, so I'm going to take it down a little bit to about 98. I'll click on OK. Alright, so if I just zoom in, you can see the background is looking smooth right now. So this is the before and the after. But I feel there's one more thing I need to do to make it more realistic. I'm just going to add digital nuance to the background to make it look more realistic. So I'm just going to come to my action. And once I come to my action, I'm going to click on nuance right here. And once I click on nuance, if I zoom in, you're going to see the effect. So this is the before and the after. You can see it's looking too much. So I'm going to reduce the opacity a little bit like so. Alright, so let me just group everything I did so you can see the before and after. Okay, so this is the before and this is the after. Okay, and from here you can choose to extend the background if you want. To just create a stamp visible layer by pressing on Ctrl Shift Alternate E. Once you create that stamp visible layer, just come to your crop tool and just make sure 4:5 is selected, the only crop ratio you want to use. So just extend the backdrop until you feel it's okay, and just make sure content array is selected. So you can extend it as long as you want. So make sure content array is selected and just click on OK. Alright, so you can see we've extended this backdrop. So this is the before and the after. Now before I show you how to add overlays to your image, let me show you a more easier way to fix the same problem. The easiest thing to do is to actually crop the image. Now I'm just going to duplicate the background layer of this image by pressing on Ctrl J to duplicate the background layer. Then pick my crop tool and crop my image 4:5. So I'm going to crop this image 4:5 like this. And just rotate it a little bit. Make sure content array is selected. And just click on OK right here. And we just have less distraction, which is this stand right here. Now to fix that, you can either use a patch tool to just use a patch tool to remove it like this. Okay. Or you can use the remove tool to remove those places like this on the floor. So I'm going to pick my remove tool and just paint on these places right here. Those patches on the background, I'm just going to paint around it with my remove tool to actually remove them. Just like this. And once I feel I'm done, I'm going to click on OK right here. Okay, as you can see, it has removed those things for us from the background. So this is the before and the after. The before and the after. And you can just use the retouch for me to clean the backdrop, or you can just blur it out. Now I'm just going to smoothen out the background even more and add overlay to the background. Now to do that, just pick any selection tool and just click on select subject right here. And just going to select the subject. So once subject is selected, just invert the layer by pressing on Ctrl+Shift+I to invert the selection. You just press on Ctrl+J. After that, I'm just going to rename this layer subject layer like I did before. Subject. And name this layer above background. Like that. Now with my subject layer selected, I'm going to bring back the selection by pressing on Ctrl, press and hold Ctrl, and click on this background layer to bring back the selection, and just invert the selection so that only the subject will be selected by pressing on Ctrl+Shift+I to invert that selection, and just add a layer mask. So once you add the layer mask, just bring this background layer down like so. Once you bring the background layer down, just come to your filter, convert to smart filter. Once you convert to smart filter, come to filter again, come to blur, click on Gaussian blur, and just blur it until you feel it's okay. Alright, so I feel 33 works for me. I'm going to click on OK. So the before and the after. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is just to apply the overlay. Now you can go to Google and just download any image you want as your overlay. So I already downloaded an image, so I'm going to drag and drop that image into Photoshop right now. So this is the overlay file right here. I'm going to click and just drag it inside of Photoshop. Like so. And just make sure it's below the subject layer. And just resize it to the way you want it. So like this works for me. Alright, so like this works for me. I'm going to click on OK right here. Now for me, I'm going to come to my blend mode and just change the blend mode to soft light. And you can play with whichever blend mode here that works for you. But soft light works for me. I'm going to click on soft light. Now from here, I'm just going to reduce the opacity even more to make it more realistic like so. So I think 10% works for me. So if I just zoom in, I'm going to see the overlay right there. So this is the before and the after. And to make this overlay look more realistic, I'm just going to add digital noise to the background. So come to your action, you just click on noise right here. And if you don't have this my action, I'll be leaving the link where you can download it in the description below. So you can see we added digital noise to this image. Let me just zoom in so you can see more. So this is the before the digital noise, and this is after the digital noise. Now if you feel it's too much, you can just reduce the opacity of the noise like that. Alright, now let me just group everything so you can see where we started from and where we are right now. Ctrl+G. Alright, so this is where we started from and this is where we are right now. And for this image, this is where we started from and this is what we did. Now that you know how to clear your backdrop and also extend your backdrop, you should learn how to master skill retouching in just 10 minutes. Click on this video right here. I'll see you guys in my next one. Stay creative.